on curbs, like at,
Right.
on the
Right.
intersections, yeah.
Yes.
So that would be helpful, Janet.
Okay, the only thing I wanted to say is, I understand the whole thing of, you know, going through and reevaluating everything. But I think what Trish is referring to, and what we see, of course, on cluster 5, is that when we have visitors and when we have people come, there's literally only those 3. Yes, I understand that all the rest of those are for second car people and that kind of thing. But the majority of people that are over here are not parking over there and walking. They just don't. We might have a cluster 4 person parked there, and then the rest of it is cluster 5. There's just, I mean, if my second spot was at cluster 2, I wouldn't use it, because I wouldn't walk all the way over there. So the majority of the people are not using that. I think that's why we're looking for another 1 or 2 visitor spots versus a.
Well, we had them all over there, we just took them out
We
right
had,
before
like-
Tricia came on,
we had,
Charlie
like,
just took them out.
There was
Well,
like 15
I'm just
of them
saying,
over
yes.
there.
There-
wouldn't say
well,
there were
gosh,
15,
and-
but I would say adding 50 or 3
No, there
more.
were 15.
I know, but I'm saying,
Well,
we don't need,
what
Charlie
Charlie-
was right about that, but I think now that we're seeing every time the 3 visitor spots are always full, all the resident spots are always vacant.
Right,
So adding another 3, I think would be helpful.
Well, and keep in mind, every cluster has two visitor spots in each cluster. So you have the 2 that are anchoring or on the one end of cluster, and then you also have the 3 that are along 59. So cluster 5 has access to more visitor than 3 or 4 as well. So
yeah.
That's true, but.
cluster 1 does not have any visitor parking because every single one of their units take up the number of unmarked spots. So there's no room for it. So they have no choice but to park here. Gary?
I was wondering, are you talking about labeling the asphalt or the stops?
You mean the
Asphalt, right?
curb or this asphalt?
It would be nice to label the stops where it just said resident
Yeah,
or
because,
something.
I mean, I
But
would
correct
think,
me if I'm, oh, sorry, you go ahead.
I would think it'd be a lot cheaper to label the stops or curbs, whatever, than to go into that asphalt.
Well, I believe that the reason why it's not the stops is because of Comto. Because they could not, because vehicles
can't see.
pull up, they can't see.
No, I think you need to, just for the resident. So like when people are pulling in, for visitor, they still need to know which spots and watch them.
Oh.
But Comto needs to know which ones are numbered versus not, so they won't be watching, you know.
I feel like they're the reason why we have visitors so big, because they told us that we had to have it like that.
Yeah.
But, and I know the curb itself, we don't use that to delineate because you can't see it when cars pull in. Cause I've tried to see it for some marked spots and you can't. So,
Yeah, but if you put resident or owner, something, anything, on the curbs, so all owners know they can park there, that still leaves your guests to just look for the big word visitor.
we will, I will also have
People
to
need
have
to tell their
replace
guests,
some,
look for the big word visitor.
we'll have to replace some stops because there are a fair number of them on the property that are
Broken.
beat from people driving into them. So we'd be looking at that as well. So let's figure out the numbers.
Revisit this and.
Yeah. So we'll get the reports to every one of you. All right. Next up, Robin, I'm gonna skip you again for a minute and just do a termite tenting update for cluster 2. How about that? If you're talking, I can't hear you, or you're not talking. Okay, so quick update on cluster 2's termite tenting. It was set to start yesterday. Winds were far too high, so they made the call, I don't even know, 11 o'clock yesterday that they weren't gonna be able to do it, which means that residents in cluster 2 will not be able to get back into their homes until Thursday. It's delayed by a day, but as you can see, we have the Slytherin tents over in cluster 2. People who know what that means, you're my people. If you don't, I don't even know that I want to be your friend. So that's actively happening right now. Hopefully that means they're going to be good for 10 years and no ickies, termites and bugs and other nasties, because supposedly it kills a lot.
However,
Oh, no.
assuming that the tent stays intact, there's no issues and no one breaks into it, there's no break in the tent due to wind or vandalism or anything, people can come back Thursday. If anything occurs, we have to start over. So I'm just bringing that up because you said people can come back Thursday, and I don't want them to not be watching for my emails in case I tell them don't come back until Saturday.
To release them back into their homes.
Yeah.
Do this termite company have like security on site to make sure that people aren't getting in there at night? Because I know what happened, that they had previous tenting companies did put security on the property to ensure that.
I don't know if they do or they don't. I'm gonna say they probably do, and that's probably all we're gonna say out loud, right?
Alright, cool, I like it. Any questions about the termite hunting, and who wants to go next? Raise your hands, cause I know you do, that's me. Okay, there's the update. Okay, Robin, can you hear me and can you speak? Alright, memorial trees.
Yes, okay, so, I met with a guy over the last week that had a really good idea that they do over in Mount Vernon, and I just wanted to throw it out there. I would be happy to handle it if it's something that our community would like to do. He mentioned that over in Mount Vernon, they have a special memorial section, which I thought would be nice along 7th Avenue West over on the doggy walk section, along that walkway where it's kind of yucky. They have a memorial section where owners can actually purchase a tree of their size that they can donate to the community and put a little plaque in front of it and saying in memory of a certain person that maybe it's an owner that's lived there for 50 years. So maybe they would like a little memorial there in a remembrance of them and their time spent in Pebble Springs. So it's something I thought would be a nice addition to our community, especially when you're walking along there with your dogs. And it also would be a nice way for us to decorate that area and make it more pleasurable or more appealing to other people walking, and just a nice remembrance to make you feel good while you're walking your dog.
Where did you
So
say,
it's something I would
Robin?
just throw out there to everybody.
Where did,
So, I didn't know how
Seven?
other directors felt about it.
So, 7th Avenue is,
Can you guys hear me?
yep,
yep,
and I'm on.
Yep. I did.
Yes, and I was on mute, so so I was talking to nothing. 7th Avenue desperately needs any TLC we can give it, cause it is really horrifying. It's either sand and weeds or some grass, and lots of roots. So, I also think that, the memorial tree concept, I like the idea, and I think that it could even be something that you could do in your cluster courtyard area as well, and even into like the grassy knoll, because that's just this barren space. But I don't have a problem, but I think that we do, if we do allow that, we have to have a limit on the type of trees.
Right.
So,
And the size.
yeah.
And the size, because we don't want something overbearing
yeah,
or something invasive that we have to, take care of and just be an added expense.
And
So it's
no
something
no
we're gonna have
evergreen
to
trees.
research.
you guys would have to pick 2 or 3, and you gotta come up with the size of the plaque and things like that, and if people want one, and then designate some areas and say you can have your choice of tree and in any of these areas, let them.
We do have sprinklers, at least you can see the heads over there, but we'd have to also figure out who, when we are allowed the water. Who's
Well-
paying for that water?
Well, not only that, consider planting trees by sprinklers. Bushes are one thing, but trees with big roots, so,
Oh.
you're probably gonna have to redo the irrigation eventually, so.
What are your thoughts, Tricia, Jenny,
I think it's a good idea.
our ladies in black?
Yeah.
I think it's a nice idea, but the extra cost with, if we have to have the sprinklers redone and all that is
Have the trees trimmed.
not appealing.
It's an ongoing
Yeah.
maintenance.
we can float it too, Robin, in the newsletter. Or
Okay.
if you wanna pop it in like the Facebook group and see if people have thoughts on it. Cause, you know, obviously, anything we can do to beautify the community without a massive cost to the community is,
I mean, it's donated by the person who
Yeah.
buys it, not like, it doesn't come out like.
no,
our
but then
budget.
the maintenance of it.
The maintenance of that.
Right,
Right.
Well, that's why we should do it around long setup.
just a lot
So
of
that, added to Jesus' job,
Does somebody wanna
Then
donate
he
some
does
money
or
for
no?
59?
I mean, he's responsible for all of it, but he charges us for every single tree trimming that happens. I think
Yeah.
the only thing that we have included in our contract with him is mowing and like his whacking off the top of all of our shrubbery, right? And maybe some weeding? Is that about
but
right?
I think I did mention, Laura, remember when I told you I was speaking to that guy, and
Yeah.
they have a different company, that I don't wanna throw the name out there, but he also said he's like a property manager for like over 20 years, and he said it's next to impossible
Yeah.
to find a company that will maintain and take care of your shrubs and mow your lawn and do the weed whacking without spending a small fortune. He
Yeah.
said, they have a special team that works at their complex for that, and then the mowing and the weed whacking is just one other company. He said he couldn't find anybody that would, do all of that together, like I said, without spending a fortune.
Yeah. So maybe that's what we should consider, is having a separate company to manage
Shrubs.
the shrubs
Yeah.
and
But
foliage.
maybe could that be an expense by cluster? So that, I mean, I know cluster 3 has quite a bit, I don't know about the other clusters, I know there's another cluster that has quite a bit too. And then there's some clusters that have none, so is that fair for them to be paying for all the shrubbery in all the other clusters when they don't have any?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something, is that feasible? Maybe Janet can answer that, or does it have to all go through as a whole big thing? Or can we just hire a company to maintain all the, shrubs? Like, if I want to hire a company to just come and shape all my shrubs in cluster 3, is that something that is allowed?
Yeah. If you
Yes,
have the
it is.
budget. So here's the thing, and Dawn and I, we need to speak with everyone about the financials, which is on this, it's on the agenda, the next item, okay? But one of the things that we have to talk about is these projects and all, they sound great, they sound good. But anything that you guys want to do that is not a big reserve project, like the termite tending or the roofs, you need to be looking at your budget. Did you put money in a category for that? If you didn't, no, you should not be doing it. That you're spending money you're not collecting. So if you budgeted so much for landscaping, which for you, Robin, for the year, let me see. You have your miscellaneous landscaping at 1,198, and as of the end of March, you're at 2,361.
Right.
You have tree trimming at 1,000, you have mulch at 1,000, irrigation at 300. So where are you getting the money for that?
Well, I was gonna, for that 2,000, I'm gonna not mulch or and that will take up the extra money. But you mean, like, if I wanted to have a landscape company come in, that's what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't understand where that would come from, so it's not in budget, so it's not gonna happen then. Because we're on all such tight budgets, you basically can't do anything besides what the necessities that need to be done.
Yeah. Now keep in mind, operating is a guideline. Operating is not set in stone like reserves. So you put a lot in building repairs this year, and I can't remember off the top of my head what our plans were back in the fall as to why that went, and I know we put extra monies in there because of the stack issues. But, I mean, it's not like you don't have the money in the operating. I'm just saying, whenever the board collectively wants to look at a project or approve something Corey's recommending that's not necessary, the Department of Health did not come and say, get that light replaced. So, you know, whenever there's things like that, it's good to be proactive if you have the money to be proactive. If you don't, then you put it on the wish list and you make a note of it, I need approximately this much in next year's budget for this.
How often do they come and
Right.
check?
Twice a year.
Twice a year?
Well, yeah, he tends to be a pain in the butt and just pop in
Yeah, he
sometimes,
doesn't tell us
so.
when. Corey's expecting him any day.
Yeah,
Well, and I had somebody ask me, like, why is our rope
Okay.
on? Do you guys all have ropes?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Period.
have to have that.
No, we don't have one. They're like, well, when the guy comes.
wait.
So I was like,
I'll find you.
how often does he come?
Yeah, Corey's expecting him. He keeps telling me it's gonna be any day now.
Well,
think
I
he
thought
was
in August
waiting.
and there's never been a rope there, so I didn't know, like, at what point our rope disappeared. I've never seen a rope in our
So
pool.
your rope broke?
Broke.
How long ago?
A long time.
I was gonna say,
And you guys have
we
never
bought in
been
August
cited
and there
for it?
hasn't been a rope.
It's been gone for a long time.
And never been cited for no rope?
well, I don't know what, if the gallons of the pool or something, anything has to do, I have no idea. You
Somebody
might
just
be
mentioned it
2
on
gallons
the
under
weekend,
what
so then
requires
I
a
was
rope,
like,
yeah,
Like, I didn't
I
know
don't
there
know.
was a rope. I
The
just-
rope
Yeah.
broke numerous times, and it was duct taped together and everything else. The floaties were broke, and it was just sinking, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared, so somebody obviously threw it away.
Maybe if it doesn't have to be there, we don't need it.
Cluster 3 doesn't have a rope.
So we
Four
need
doesn't have a rope.
You know why
We need
Corey,
6 ropes.
Corey is excitable, he's high maintenance, he does a really good job, I
He
mean,
is.
on pools, but he keeps them clean. But he's very excitable, but he takes a ding on the health report
personally.
as like in a personal affront to him.
Yeah.
Like, your rope is missing, I should have noticed that, you should have had a rope
Yeah.
like 6 months ago, I'll get you one,
I'm
it'll be here
surprised
tomorrow,
that
it's
no one has said
$1,800.
anything.
I'm gonna ask, he, seriously, like, he takes it as a personal assault on his skills if we get dinged for anything, because he dropped the ball on us. But I'm gonna ask
I
him.
noticed that there's no rope there.
But I mean, that's a good thing, because he definitely
Yeah.
takes pride in it.
Yeah, until he
Yeah.
calls you and it's $3,000.
Amazing, so.
Oh, yeah, I think he does a
They do, he does a
fantastic
great
work,
job,
but-
but I dread every time I see his name pop up, because I know
Well, if I wanted
it's
another
gonna be
pool,
thousands
some
of
other
dollars.
complex,
Yeah.
I'm asking him about the rope, okay.
But anyway, so that's kind of your answer, and I went into the next topic on that, and Dawn
That's
wants to talk
okay.
some too about financials, but it's just, you know, we just wanted to say that we really have to use the guideline. And I'll tell you why, we are now fully funding our reserves, and we are made a plan to special assess every time there is a large operating expense that wasn't budgeted for. So, we are not ending any more years with negative balances in anyone's operating account. And the reason for that is, again, like I said last year, that means that you're shorting, you all share a bank account. It's not like your account's in the negative and checks are gonna bounce. But it's not your money for your cluster if your balance sheet is showing negative. And we don't want that anymore. So each year we've been fixing a couple of things and getting everything back in order, and so we have to be really careful with our spending this year. And Dawn does a really good job. It's not her fault that she's not giving a treasurer's report on the financials. It's definitely our fault. The offering of the split of allowing some people to pay the roof in full and then only taking a loan out on those who financed has turned out to be an accounting disaster. So we have been having a really hard time getting the December financial finalized, and it's all reserve monies. But I think we've got it all straight now. I got the final draft copy today. I'll share with Dawn. I just kind of wanted to give it a look. And then as soon as that's done, we can do January, February, March like that, so.
And so, can you just explain why it's an accounting nightmare? So for all of us here, so we understand that there's a reason why it's becoming a problem, and probably why we should not offer that again in the future? Is that kind of the suggestion being made for future reference?
Yeah, first off, we had to split the communities, so it's messing with all the reports. Second off, we had to split it into those who paid in advance and those who are still on the plan. It's creating havoc with the estoppels. They automatically pull into HomeWise now, it's an issue. It's creating havoc with math, just because, but that's me, not everybody else. The problem is on the financials, because we paid the roof in full, and instead of showing that as all full loan, I can't show it as all full loan, because it's not all full loan, it's partial loan for each of you. And some people paid in full. So the rest of that is now hitting the reserve category, because we don't know where else to record it. If it's not in the loan, where else is it? So we're hitting the reserve, and it's showing you at the end of December with negative in the roofing line item. But you're not. But you are, because we all that money through May of 2028 has not been collected yet. It's still coming in. So it's just created a nightmare with the split. It is all it is. So it took us a while to get it straightened out, and I think we've got it. But they're just going to show negative, and I mean that's just it. But that means when people ask for copies of the financials for their institution or for their whatever, it's going to show negative in the roofing category, and there's just nothing else that we can do for it, so.
Even though it's not really a negative because the money is coming in, it's just coming in monthly payments.
Through May of 2028, yeah. So, the reason that it's awful is because people that paid in advance in full, who are trying to sell their unit, shouldn't have any questions, you know what I mean? But it's there. It's easily explainable if a title agency or a realtor asks me. It's just not a pretty look. So, and then there is a loan line item, but that is for those people who took money out of the loan. If we had just taken the entire roof project out of the loan and just charged everybody the full amount with interest and whatever, and some people paid it in advance, it wouldn't be an issue. But because we offered the cheaper versus the more expensive, it's drama, so.
So I just so does that mean then that ultimately cluster 1 waits until they do get cited by the health department to put in that letter to approve it? Or, because it's like, does that mean then that obviously Robin's pool heater probably not going to have it unless her people want to pay for the extra $1,000 and whatever the cost, because obviously if she goes down that path and does get the approval from the community, she's also going to see an increase in her bill, her monthly bill, by, as Dawn said, $400 to $500 increase. So does that kind of stop any of those like wish list items for the clusters?
Yeah, but when is she going to use it? Like maybe
not gonna be
October,
until
November,
soon.
and December of this year, and then she can budget for the next year? I
Yeah.
mean, you're not going to use it in August, July,
I know. I'm joking, I wouldn't ever. But, I mean, that's what I'm trying to, so is that
No,
what
no.
we have to think about?
Jenny has money, cluster 1 has money in building, and they have money in pool repairs. I was just using that as an
Yeah.
example because it was on the table tonight.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying, like, that is something, you may end up having to do that. But if you don't have the money, don't do it now
Yeah.
without special assessing
Yeah.
to get it. Like if Robin does material alteration and does a special assessment for it, that's completely separate from all this, right?
All right, I just wanted to make sure if that was well understood. Janet, you had a question or comment?
I forgot.
You gotta remember to the board discussion. We're allowing.
Okay, any other?
No, seriously, I was just joking. I mean, can I say something?
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm sorry, I was just
I think
kidding.
the board's done talking about financials, right? Dawn,
Dawn didn't say anything.
Robin,
I'm good.
Dawn, are you good, treasurer?
Are you muted?
She's not.
No, I'm not muted. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more that we can explain once we get
The update.
it to the financials for the end of last year and then flowing into this year. It'll give us all directors a little bit more to research.
Okay. All right. No board discussion, Janet.
Okay, all I was just gonna say was going back to the irrigation and everything on 7th Avenue. Cluster 5 spent money over there back when Ann was the director. We put in all kinds of bushes and we put in irrigation along there. The problem is that like everything else, if it doesn't get maintained, it eventually poops out, and the irrigation didn't work anymore, and the bushes all went to heck, and so on. I think, I mean, 7th Avenue is, you know, part of all of us, but it never gets maintained the way it should. To me, it just seems like one of those things that one of these days, like you're talking a wish list, one of these days you budget for it or you put in for it, and we just rock it. We just get rid of the bushes and the grass and whatever else, and either just cement it, rock it, do something where you don't have maintaining of it. I don't know, I'm just saying, it's where the dogs are supposed to walk, but half of the times they're not out there, and it's just always, the garbage is out there, it's just a mess. The fence I told you about there at Cluster 5 is all broken. I mean, it's just an eyesore, and I think it gets too expensive for us to always try to maintain it. That's all I wanted to say.
Speaking of the dumpsters around, Jeff, I wanna talk to you about that when the meeting is over with, so. Okay, so that's the financials. Now we move on to expenditures, master and cluster expenditures. Do we have that many?
Yeah, some. All right, so this was repair. So, this is for the master. $1,177 from Sewell Plumbing. And that is, I don't know if anybody noticed, the sinkhole.
Yep.
It's not a sinkhole, I knew right away from seeing it, it was broken pipe underground, but it was over here in the
Way over.
green space, yeah.
So that was just for them to determine what the issue is, or is that?
No, that was the camera, and that was the after hours emergency, the camera locale, miscellaneous plumber supplies, camera work beyond the first hour charge, the apprentice hours, $1,177.
So we still have to get it there.
I think we did it while they were under there, I'll just double check it. I'm not positive, but
Okay.
because he found where it was over by the other thing. But when you have a hole like that and an underground leak like that, they tend to just grow. Sometimes they grow fast, like you have a crater by the end of the day, so I had to get them out there, but,
That happened after Milton.
yeah.
Okay, what's next?
Is that on the master?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep, that's for master.
It was over in the grassy knoll. I actually think it's probably a pipe to your place, Robin, but since we didn't have a camera to the end, we can't charge you.
That's what the assumption was, yeah. that
Yeah,
was
it was a cluster 3 pipe. Which might have been, I was gonna say, I said to Laura, it might have been why you only had $25 bill, but that was a meter issue. Cause it turns out, cause if you had that kind of pressure loss, the owners would have been complaining.
Right.
We're still trying to figure out why you only have a $25 water bill, and when the chickens are gonna come from their roost on that one.
All right, cluster 3 for $1,700. These are ones that work was already done, so just FYI. Cluster 3, $1,700, and these were trees that you had taken out, Robin, right?
Right, yep.
And they were,
It was the black olive tree that was right near our pool filter that was fogging up the filter
yeah,
and, burning out the water, causing all kinds of problems with the pool, so we had to have the black olive taken down. And then the one that was not near the side of the pool, we had, replanted out in the grassy knoll, so that was included in that $1,700, just to eliminate expense on our pool expenses down the road.
okay. So those are the two that we're approving that